Okay. Good evening, good day, anywhere in the world that you are. My name is Adeolu Akinyemi, and I'm going to be leading us in this conversation on the things I wish I knew at 20. These days, for the last few years of my life, I think actively for over 12 years now, I have been on an education drive. I've been on a massive education drive to ensure that as many people as possible are knowledgeable about this topic and concept called financial intelligence. Financial intelligence has been something I have driven aggressively. It's something I have tried to ensure I can ensure that as many people as possible are schooled on, are educated about, because of the mistakes that I had made in my own journey. So, and I'm going to share with you things I wish I knew, because now some of us, many of us here are already above that age as well. But guess what? I got to know it later than my 20s, and I haven't done the last 10 years badly. I hope that somebody out there still has more than 10 years to live and has people that they are also, linking up with and making friends with that will need the information you're about to learn today. The things I wish I knew when I was 20. Now, one of the things that has been, striking for me is recognizing and realizing that many people are not financially intelligent. And this is not basically a sub at people. It's not to make them look like they are not bright. I realized that people are actually bright. Like I was bright, academically, but I had zero financial intelligence because nowhere in the course of my education was I trained on anything that had to do with financial intelligence. So in my sojourn over the course of the last 12 years, I have come to realize that there's very little practical financial education out there. And you can be intelligent in many ways. You need to deliberately gain understanding and be intelligent financially. And I'll tell you what that means. So I realized that you can be intelligent academically. So academical intelligence is the reason why you probably score a first class, is the reason why you probably get phenomenal grades, is the reason why you will achieve, phenomenal things, your academics, get all A's, have a first class, do outstandingly well. It will be because you have academic intelligence. Now, I learned the hard way that academic intelligence does not atone for lack of financial intelligence. I also realized that you could have social intelligence, find it easy to make friends, meet people, know people, like people, see people, interrelate well with people, not be introverted, be socially, wise. I what they call a high emotional IQ. You are out there making investments, making deposits. You are a social kind of person. Okay, but guess what? The fact that you are socially smart does not mean that you'll be you'll be academic, you'll be financially intelligent as well. These are different intelligences that you need to develop and build around the same time. Okay. And then some people are spiritually intelligent. Okay. I used to think I was intelligent in many ways. And spiritual intelligence would mean that, yes, you have a love for God, you have a knowledge of God, you have a few things set for you, you are prayerful, you are loving, you're kind, you have all of these things waiting for you. But if you are not financially intelligent, it will not be because you are intelligent this way, is why you are intelligent in that way as well. So it is important that you understand that financial intelligence is a different kind of intelligence that you want to be able to cultivate and learn as well. So somebody here says, my 14-year-old son is here with me. He should not make this mistake I made. Thank you for the session. Excellent. So I realized that different kinds of intelligences. And many of us in this side of the world where I grew up, we don't recognize some levels of intelligence that people have because it's not the conventional one that is marked in school. Some people are very intelligent in many interesting ways. We're learning today in the meeting I had in the morning that creativity, for example. So there's creative intelligence. Creativity is something, for example, that we don't learn as we grow, we actually grow out of. Somebody was sharing with us this morning how they tested 4 to 5 year olds, and the same test that they give to people to qualify them as super intelligent and qualified for NASA, they gave it to 4 to 5 year olds. And guess what? 98% of the children passed the test. Okay. And as they grew older, as they grew older, they were failing more and more as they were growing older, meaning that our normal educational system and our normal developmental systems in society actually basically destroy people's growth, and intelligence in creativity. But that's something for another day. Basically saying that we have different kinds of intelligences, and except you are deliberate about becoming financially intelligent, it will not jump on you by virtue of where you grew and where you were born. Okay, it will not just suddenly happen like that. So it's very important to know that, okay, good, this is how this is developed, and you can begin to develop. So one of the first things that I didn't know that I wasn't financially intelligent. I thought that my intelligence in other areas will basically take care of the fact that I am not intelligent this way. Okay, but that's not the truth. The truth is, if you will be intelligent in any particular area, it will be deliberate. If you're going to be extremely creative, it will be because you are deliberate about being creative. If you're going to be socially intelligent, your emotional quotient and understanding how emotional intelligence works and social intelligence works, you need to be involved in that way. If you're going to be spiritually intelligent, in any intelligence you will have, it will be because you found the hack, you understood what was required, and you decided to deliberately go after it. Okay, I think that is very, very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here today, one of the key things I would like you to know is for you to realize that financial intelligence is something that you need to be deliberate about. It's something that you need to learn. It's something that you need to realize, you know what, I need to know how money works. I need to know how the relationship with money goes and how I can be involved in ensuring that I am actively participating in the dynamics of how money works, and I'm actually building. So I usually like to start with a story. It's a story I usually like to tell, and I'll share this story with you as my foundational story, and then we'll build our thoughts from there. I like stories because stories are memorable, they are difficult to forget, they stay with us, and we can stay with them for as long as we live. So once upon a time, it happened in a jungle somewhere in Africa. That very early in the morning, the lion woke up in the morning to pray. And this lion prayed and said, God, today I am going out. It's been 3 days I did not eat. I've not eaten for 3 days. I'm starving. And it's very likely that today, if I don't find anything to eat, I will die. God, as I go into my day today, I am praying. I am desirous of a hearty meal. I want to eat. I want to feed. I want something to eat. And for the sake of being specific, you said if we call on you, you will answer us. And if we make our thoughts known, you will grant us our request. I want a zebra. If I can just find a zebra today, that will be the answer to my prayers. Thank you, God, for you have answered my prayers. I pray with thanksgiving. And the lion went about their day. But interestingly, in the same jungle, around the same time, a zebra also woke up to pray. And the zebra sang early in the morning, sang in the morning and said, God, I praise you. I praise you because you are the reason I'm still alive today. If it was based on the account of my enemies, where will I be? But I am saved today and I'm well and alive because you have saved me, because you have preserved me. Thank you for preserving me. Thank you for keeping me alive. I'm alive today because of your mercy. I'm praying again as I go into the day today that you will preserve me, protect me from every evil, guide me from every evil eye, cause me to walk upon my high places. Let today be a day I will come back and give glory to your name. And I pray with thanksgiving, thank you, God. And the zebra prayed. And I tell people that usually what happens is, of course, during the day, the lion went around his business looking for food, but he found none. The zebra went around this day just going with the flow and enjoying a good day, nobody threatening his life, nothing evil happening, everything was fine. Until around 5 p.m. in the evening. Around 5 p.m. in the evening, something interesting happened. The lion was still going around the forest, praying and hoping and saying, God, I am starving. Today is the day. Do not forget me. And the zebra was still going with joy and excitement and happiness, strolling around the day, believing that he was safe. And all of a sudden, the eye of the lion caught a glimpse of the zebra. And as the lion caught a glimpse of the zebra, the lion sent a prayer to heaven and said, thank you, God, for you have finally delivered on your promise. This zebra is mine. And as the zebra caught a glimpse of the lion, the zebra sent a prayer request to heaven and said, God, I remain thankful because I know you will deliver me from this. And all of a sudden, as if rehearsed, the lion began to run ferociously after the zebra. And as the lion was prancing and running after the zebra was running for dear life, and the lion was hot after his heels. And the zebra ran and ran and ran across the deep, expanse of the forest, and the lion pursued. And as the lion pursued aggressively, the zebra was running, and the zebra was trying to make headway, but the lion was going faster. And then the zebra entered into a corner of the forest. The lion also ducked and entered the same space. Okay, and as they continue to pursue, and they continue to pursue, the lion continued to pursue, continue to pursue. The zebra kept on running and running and pushing and running and running. And guess what? All of a sudden, the zebra tripped upon a shrub and fell, and the lion pounced with aggression towards where the zebra was, and the lion was about to grab hold of the zebra. The scene was paused. And as the scene was paused, as the scene was paused, the angel in charge of the forest decided to come to this class. Okay, I tell people the angel decided to come to this class and say, now we're about to decide. They have prayed the same prayer to the same God, for one for salvation and one for food, whose prayer should be answered. And typically I like this story because this story basically evokes different reactions from different people who try to look at it from their different lenses. Some people say the prayer of the lion, some says the prayer of the lion is the one that should be answered. Some says the prayer of the zebra. Well, let's do a quick count. All in favor of lion type lion, all in favor of zebra type zebra. Okay, we want to understand, how people are wired today. Somebody says, I think the lion because the righteous are as bold as a lion. Somebody said, I think the zebra because the zebra entered God's presence with thanksgiving in his heart. And because of the thanksgiving and joy, this is why I think it should be this particular animal. Okay, I can see people voting for different people here. I can see zebras, zebra, lion, zebra, 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 zebra for his prayer of salvation. Somebody says zebra, somebody's laughing and they say the zebra that I want to vote for. Zebra, zebra, lion, interesting dynamics. Okay, different, when we analyze this, different people come up with different animals that they feel should win. Somebody there, has shown that he's been in my class before and is pushing one answer that I like very much. Okay, someone says I can't choose. Judah says I can't choose. It's complicated. Ladies and gentlemen, the lion is pursuing the zebra. Let's be very clear, they're both running for their life. The lion knows that after the third day, if he doesn't have something to eat, it is sure death. And the zebra knows that if he becomes something to eat, it is sure death. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you and I have come to learn and know that the person who will win this contest, the person whose prayer will be answered, is the one who ensures that they can run faster. Okay, is the one that runs fastest and doesn't trip or doesn't fall, doesn't make first errors, doesn't make first errors. The one that continues to jet across the forest ahead of the other is the one of the things I tell people. Sorry, somebody muted me there. One of the things I tell people from time to time is in the jungle, every animal in the jungle, there are different courses that run in the jungle. The carnivores run a course called mythology. They study meat. The lion will take the baby, the lion will take the kid lion or the cub lion across the forest, the cub, and show the cub, these are the animals you can eat. Don't chase rats, chase antelopes. Don't chase cockroaches. Don't chase grasshoppers. This is the meat you should eat. This is the meat that is delicious. This is buffalo meat. This is how buffalo works. This is how to tear it, and this is how to eat it. It's a special elective it's a special course that is run by all carnivores. It's called mythology. The zebras also have a course that they also take their children for called herbology, where they tell their children, this is what you run after. This is the kind of grass you can eat. This one is poisonous. This one is delicacy. This one is nice. This one is good for soup. This one is good at night. This one is good in the morning. This is the one you eat when you are pregnant. This is the one you are eating when you are becoming a teenager. This is how you grow. They have this course called herbology. Now, lions don't study herbology. Zebras don't study mythology. But there's a special elective that every animal in the jungle must do. That special elective is called Running 101. That Running 101 is a course in survival. It's a course in knowing that your survival relies on a very fundamental skill that every animal must learn. That skill is the ability to ensure that you stay ahead of what wants to hit you, or you stay ahead of what you want to eat. Okay, so the lions will teach their children how to run. The zebras will teach their children how to run. The antelopes will teach their children how to run. The ostrich will know how to run. The leopard will know how to run. The cheetah will know how to run. Every animal in the jungle must learn to keep ahead of the one that is chasing it, or learn to keep at pace with the one that it is chasing. Now, in the jungle, it is running one on one. Now, in the jungle of human existence, many of us in this room today have very differing professions. Some of us are engineers, some of us are medical doctors, some of us are scientists, some of us are artists, some of us are pharmacists, some of us are accountants, some of us are social scientists, some of us are economists, some of us did biochemistry, biology, zoology. We have different courses running in this room today. We have different survival, skills that are unique for our trades, unique for our functions. But there's one thing that binds us all together, and that key skill that binds us all together is that everybody in this room earns and spends. And even if you don't earn, everybody in this room spends. We all spend. Our GST cost, our general service cost is financial intelligence. If I don't know how money works, it doesn't matter if I'm a pastor or an imam. It doesn't matter if I'm the CEO or an employee. It doesn't matter if I'm an entrepreneur or a social entrepreneur. It doesn't matter who I am, what I do. I will spend. We all engage with the world with currency. We all spend. If you are here today and you have not spent money, you can indicate. But if you're here today and you have spent, and I tell people sometimes we don't spend actively cash. So sometimes you make a phone call, you are spending the credits you already spent. Sometimes you make an SMS, you are spending what you already aggregated to be spent. Sometimes you travel a long distance, you have spent your clothes and worn them out. Sometimes you spend the fuel that's in your car, but we all spend. Okay, what binds us all together, what we have in common, is that we all spend. I say to people, not even all of us earn. Some of us don't earn. Some of us depend on people's earnings. Some of us are in the stages of our life where we're not actively earning. But guess what? Every one of us spends. And because we all spend, we must all understand the dynamics of how money works. And many of us get to interact with money for the first time at different stages. So I'll tell you my own story. For me, my first interaction with money was when I was about 5 years old. Okay, my very first conscious interaction with money. Okay, and I think this is important because I tell people that is the day you wake up, is an African proverb, the day you wake up is when your morning begins. We need to be able to investigate our encounters with money, understand how it works, and understand how we can go back in time and realize that these are things that I probably missed in my curriculum. Now, the schools don't teach this, unfortunately. I've been to a few universities across Nigeria. I've been to Benson and Daressa University. I've been to Covenant. I've been to a few spaces to see how can we ensure that this becomes something that people get to learn before they leave the campuses. Because we find this very exciting when we have made the mistakes. Okay, it sticks for longer when we have made the financial mistakes and we are now recovering from them. But guess what? What if this was a compulsory reality that people needed to grapple with when they were in their teenage years, in their 20s, and they could organize their lives properly early on? Would that not be amazing? Ladies and gentlemen, that's why you are here. You are here today because you can learn this for yourself and begin to get yourself back on track. And two, you are here today because you can be the person who does the introduction to ensure that somebody else doesn't have to go through the journey that you have gone through as well. Okay, that there are some things that we actually are teaching people that are against the way money works. So my own first interaction with money was as a 5-year-old. And what did I realize? I was back then in those days, I was in primary one. I started a little earlier. It wasn't easy to start at age 5, but there was a relationship I think my father utilized of knowing the principal of a particular school who had moved from Ilorin to Oyo State. And I couldn't be at home, so I needed to start school. So I started in the school in Oyo State. I'd done some schooling in Ilorin at that time, and then I joined the school. I think my father knew the headmistress, and he was the chairman of the zonal health board. It was a political appointment that he was there for like 18 months in our life. He moved from the academics into this space, and I think it was a time when you couldn't really, people are not really focusing on getting rich in the political space because I couldn't see how that has affected anything financially. But guess we went to this place and I was in school, and I realized that every day I will go to school with 5 kobo. I was given 5 kobo, CC, we used to call it back then, that I used to buy food in school. And I quickly realized while I was in school that this 5 kobo, this CC, could not buy what all of us usually wanted to buy. And the average person in school is not fascinated by the beans and the yam porridge and the rice. I can remember the yam porridge, the orange colored stuff that they pour in the bowls and we eat. We were not fascinated by that. We loved another orange color stuff. It was called tree top. And tree top was a powdered substance back then that looks like Nutrici today, but was in powder form. And I can remember very clearly it was 15 kobo. And my first interaction with money was realizing that if I wanted to drink tree top, which will make me more useful to my friends, because everybody knows that one of the things I could really do for myself was ensure that I saved the money at least for 3 days, starved myself for 3 days so that I could buy trade up. So my very first interaction with money was the fact that money was not enough to achieve the things I wanted to achieve. And I needed to have personal discipline to be able to aggregate the money together to achieve what I wanted to achieve. And because that was my first interaction with money, I realized today as well that's probably a lesson I probably would take for granted. I'm always realizing there are bigger projects to do. I don't have to have enough for what I want to do. I only need to know what I want to do. I need to know what I have, and I need to tell myself how many days do I need to put this together to accomplish what I want to accomplish. So, ladies and gentlemen, we all have interactions with money, but you need to learn some of the things that you probably have missed out that you did not learn when you were in your 20s. So I'm going to be covering a variety of things in this key space over the course of the next 3 days. But today we're going to start with identifying some foundational thoughts, that some foundational principles and perspectives that we needed to have shifted earlier. Now, statistics shows us something very interesting. Uh, this research was done a long time ago. I stumbled on it many years, about 12 years ago as well. And one of the things that inspired me, I've always been trying to look for, the details of the sources of, if I could find the clear sources for some of this data. But it's the data that I've found in one or two places. You can do a Google search for it yourself. This research was done analyzing 100 people. And these 100 people were analyzed when they were at the age of 25. And at the age of 25, they checked these people to ask, these 25-year-olds, they are gainfully employed. They are at some stages of their careers. And the question was asked, how are they doing today? So they found 25 people who are doing well, okay, in their career. So these 100 people had something in common. They all had jobs. They were all doing well. They were all in their at age 25, young, fresh from school, high on life, high on purpose. And this was conducted to find out how they were doing, how they were faring, what their hopes for the future was. And they all had big dreams. And then they left these people and decided to say, you know what, let's see how they progress in their lives and let's evaluate them again after 40 years. And after 40 years, these children were, from 25, they had become 65. They did another survey to find out how did these high flyers, how did they end after 40 years of living? And after 40 years of living, it was discovered. The following things were discovered. It was discovered out of these 100 people, 54 of them had become financially dependent at 65. By the time they clocked the age of 65, they had become financially dependent. Okay, and this is an American statistic. So for Nigeria, in my engagement over the last uh, 12 years of over 200,000 people, I have statistics I've been able to derive as well based on show of hands and tests that I've been able to give people to do. And it is not far from these realities. In fact, it is worse than these realities. 54 out of 100 had become financially dependent at 65. What does this mean? It meant that after 40 years of working, they had worked themselves to a place where without the government, without children's support, without one form of support or the other, they could not survive. They had worked themselves into a place where they needed the help and intervention, okay, of others to be able to sustain their living. They had become financially dependent. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the way you want to live, but 54 out of 100 had this reality at the ripe old age of 65. Now, what does this mean to us? This means that in a normal average society, in the most entrepreneurial nation in the world, America, okay, after 40 years of working, after 40 years of being at the grind in their various work, 54 out of 100, 1 out of 2, more than half of the populace had become financially dependent. If you are here today, what this says to you is, if you are not deliberate about your financial future, it is very likely that when you are 65 and supposed to be ready for retirement, the chances that you will be financially dependent is 1 over 2. Now, if you're here today and that's not the fate that you want, you can type in that box there and say, not my portion. Okay, say there, not my portion, not my portion. This is not what my reality will be. This is not my portion. Not my portion. Okay, now, that's good. I can see that somebody saying not my portion, not my portion. But guess what? It means that if it's not your portion, it's probably the portion of the person that is watching with you. Because 54% have become financially dependent at the age of 65. Now, out of the 100 people that were pooled, there was 46 remaining. And you would think if 54 were financially dependent, maybe something better was happening to the 46. In the study of the 46, it was discovered that after working for this number of years, guess what was the reality with many of them again as well? It was discovered that after working for these years, a number of these people were not only, as in the people that were dependent, were still not doing badly. 16% were still working. 16 out of the 100 were still working. They had found a way to ensure that even though they were supposed to have retired, they couldn't retire. They had found that they were no longer able to do the work of principal. They had resigned from there and taken up the job of headmaster in a private institution. Even though they were 65, they were looking for ways to still extend the number of years that they could work in ASU in different spaces so that they can still be at work. Ladies and gentlemen, 16 out of 100 were still working. In America, life expectancy is 65. Based on this research, 24 had died by 65. In Nigeria, life expectancy is about 53, 52 today. It means that more would have died if it was evaluated within our market spaces. What does this mean? This means 54 were dependent, 16 were still working, 24 were dead. We have 6 left. Out of these 6, research shows that 5 at 65 were financially independent. What does this mean? It meant that they could run their finances without needing anybody's help. It meant they probably ran businesses, they ran companies, they ran structures that allowed them the benefit of being independent. They still needed to make some inputs here and there, but they were not dependent on the government. They were not dependent on others. They were able to run by themselves. According to this research, only 1 out of 100 was financially free. 1 out of 100. Please type in the window, type in the chat box if you are there. 1 out of 100. 1%. It means in this class of 113 people, if we get 2 people, we'll have broken the odds. And why 1 in 100? Why 1%? Why such terrible numbers? Why are not so many people able to become financially free at the age of 65? Now, in my own observation of interacting with hundreds of thousands of people across different continents of the world, and I'm literally telling you different continents of the world over the space of the last 12 years, I've been in different places, I've gone for different seminars, I've been detained in the airports before, trying to go and do billionaires in trading in London, and they were wondering how come you're traveling to the UK every 2 weeks? What are you doing? And I said, billionaires in trading. I said, what? You're doing what? What are you dealing in? And they quarantined me in a particular area to find out what exactly is this young man doing. Ladies and gentlemen, I make bold to tell you that the reason why we have 1 out of 100 that become financially free after 40 years of driving is because it is not anywhere in the curriculum. People are not trained on what their goals should be. People are not trained on how to go about it. Many people start their lives thinking, I just need to earn enough to sustain my livelihood. I just need to earn enough to sustain my current lifestyle. People are not trained to understand that the first thing that needs to be changed about their outlook on money is the goal. And I give you the experience of my own first encounter with money. My first encounter with money was accumulate so that you can acquire what you want. That's what my lesson taught me. At age 5, I had learned that I needed to deny myself, be disciplined, accumulate so that I can choose to buy the things that I desire. That's not a bad lesson, but that goal was a goal of securing what I wanted. It wasn't a goal around freedom. I did not understand at age 5, and I did not understand until age 30 what freedom financially meant. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest first key lessons that I wish I knew at 20, and I think that you need to know, okay, is that your goal is not financial security. Your goal is financial freedom. Now, this simple financial security, financial freedom that looks like a simple twist of words, it is phenomenally important. That the way I will organize my life, the way I will organize my finances, the way I will structure my engagement is a function of what my goal is. Now, reality shows us that many people don't have goals. Somebody did a research one time and they realized that, in a graduating class in a school in America, they realized that the 3% who had goals are done better than the 97% that did not have goals. Okay, that those who do goals achieve more than those who don't. So already we live in a life where many people don't have goals, and those who have goals do better than those who don't have goals. But guess what? Some people have goals and they have the wrong goals. Okay, they have the wrong goals. And what does that mean? It means that you need to begin to ask yourself, what should be the right financial goal? The reason why in the most entrepreneurial nation in the world, only 1 out of 100 become financially free at 65 is because nobody taught them that the goal ought to be freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in this room today and you will like to reorganize your goal and define it properly, can you just put an emoticon there and say, I will, I want to, I desire to? Because that's why this is. Because if I realized at 20, if I knew when I got my first job, before I got my first job, that this is what I'm playing for, if I realized that this was all about, then I'll make different decisions. I will set my sail differently. And guess what? Different winds will come to my support. I tell people, your hands can't hit, in the words of Muhammad Ali, your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see. Your eyes, first of all, need to see it before your hands can eat it. Okay? That your goal begins to give you a target to run towards. Your goal is like a line in the sand. Every race is a useless race if you don't know where to breast the tape. People will run astray, will run amok, will run asunder if they don't know that this is the end of where I'm running to. The only way you can contain a race or be able to say, you know what, this is where this race is running from and this is where it gets into, is when there's a tape, when there's a line in the sand that they need to cross. For your finances as well, you need to be clear. People need to set goals. Goals are important. We're in the season where a lot of goals will be set. But if the goal you set is wrong, what exactly is that? I like a statement that I found that Jesus made. He said, if the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness? That if the thing that is supposed to be light, that's supposed to be lighting the whole environment, already has a problem, then you have a more fundamental problem. If your goal is not right, if your goal is right, amazing, you have a harbor to head towards. If your goal is wrong, then you can climb the ladder of success for 30 years, get to the top, and realize that it's leaning on the wrong wall. The reason why we have politicians looting in Nigeria is because everybody's encounter with money in an environment of scarcity and poverty is that they need to accumulate. And that accumulation gives you security. Okay, people are more confident when they have more in their bank account. But ladies and gentlemen, one of the first lessons you need to begin to unlearn and relearn is that your goal is not accumulation, your goal is a system. The goal is not security, the goal is freedom. Now, what you want to be able to achieve, what you want to be able to drive towards is a scenario where you are free. And I'm going to share, let me see if I can get you some slides, to buttress the point of what I want to share with you today. To say, what exactly does this mean? How should my life look like if this was my goal? And ladies and gentlemen, I know we are at different levels in our journey, we are at different spaces in how we are driving and what we are driving. This is something that is crucial. This is something that is key to know. And ladies and gentlemen, I wish I knew it at my 20s. I didn't know it in my 20s. It took a while before I got to get this information. And since I did, I began to work deliberately to ensure that this happens. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you may not know this, okay? But guess what? The average millionaire becomes a millionaire after going at it for 17 years. Okay, it takes 17 years, of working at being a millionaire to be a millionaire in dollars. What does that mean? It means many of us are in a hurry. We're in a wrong hurry. We are flogging ourselves, for what we shouldn't have been flogging ourselves for. If you are building consistently towards a goal, then you realize that your goal is not security, your goal is freedom. What does this mean? There are a few things I wish I knew at 20. We're going to cover a number of them. But guess what? Many of us chose the careers we studied based on security mindsets. And what exactly is the security mindset? I'll break it down for you. The security mindset is a mindset that says, you know what? I want to be secure. I want to have a job where my salary is guaranteed. I want to have a job where I'm paid. There is nothing wrong with security. Please help me help this person who says she cannot hear. It's probably because they are not connected with their audio. So there are a few people that are not connected with their audio. I think we have about 4 of them who are not connected with their audio. But this person is supposed to be connected with their audio. So please plug in your audio so that you can hear me loud and clear. I'm sure people are hearing where they are. So it must be something within your area. Okay, so very quickly, if you're still with me, we chose our career choices based on security. Security means I want to be safe. Okay, the value behind security is safety. I want to be assured that at the end of the month, I will be paid. I want to have enough money to take care of my next month. I want to go from day to day knowing that my next step is guaranteed. My next month is guaranteed. So we chose our careers. Our parents guided us in choosing our careers based on what will grant us security. Doctor, nurses, medical doctor, pharmacists, engineers, lawyers, accountants. The real drive behind the jobs that we went for as courses of study in university is which one will help me get a secure job. Which one will secure me a job? Which one will I be able to learn something that at least can give me the opportunity to send my children to the right schools, give me a roof over my head, afford me the opportunity of buying a car? I don't want to be a lecturer. Why? Because this and this and this are the problems that they have. I want to be a doctor because they always get a job, a lawyer because they always get a job, an accountant because that they're last to be fired. Everybody needs to account for their money. We chose what we wanted based on security. If you are here today and that resonates with you, you wanted to study a particular course, your parents guided you to study a particular course, and the real driving force behind it was you will be secure. If you recognize what I'm saying and it sounds like you, can you just type in that window, that sounds like me? Okay, we have secure choice. We want to be secure, and there's nothing wrong with being secure. Okay, and the whole lay of all of us was so that we can be a part of the rat race. And the rat race is a very simple race. The rat race says, I go to school. Okay, I go to school, I get good grades, I get a good job, I secure a good job, and I get promoted. Okay, and then someday I get married, I get retired, and I'm secured. I have a roof over my head, I have a car I can move around with, I have enough money in the bank account. This sounds like me. Okay, if it sounds like you, type in the window, it sounds like you. I know it should sound like many of us. Okay, this is definitely what we want to do. So I did engineering because why did I say I want to go and do English? Or why did I say I want to go and do maths? Because the first question that comes into the mind of people when we're trying to secure our courses is which one will pay you? Which one will secure you? Which one will cover you? Which one will give you the opportunity to be able to do exactly what you want to do and be able to have enough money after the month? It was about 30 days make a pay. And this is a mindset of security. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to break away from this and realize, I tell people, security is a good thing, but the turning that leads to freedom, takes bypasses the way to security. If you are following the way to security, you bypass the way that leads to freedom. That in an attempt to be secured, we mortgage the opportunity for freedom in order to be secured. Okay, and I'm going to spell that out. We're going to have 1 hour today, 1 hour tomorrow, 1 hour day after. We're going to cover as much of ground as we can cover because you need to get this correctly. These are mistakes that we made. So we felt choose the career based on the one that will get you a good job. Choose the courses that will make you get a good job. When you finish from school, what are you looking for? In school, you want to get good grades. Why do you want to get good grades? Because it is only 2-1 and first class that will be invited for the interview. If you have 2-2 and third class, you won't even get to the interview. What does that mean? It means all the goal driving my education is so that I can be secured. When I get a bad grade, I know that I'm going from behind. So I want to volunteer in a few places so that I can get experience. Why am I looking for experience? So that I can get a job that secures me. What is security? I'm able to afford. I'm not moving around in public transport. I can afford a car. What is security? I can afford a house. I'm not staying with friends or hanging out with people in a particular cluster. I can live in an independent house. What is security? I can move from a house into building my own house. I'm moving to the house. What is security? Security is what I get, to ensure that I am safe. But unfortunately, on my way to becoming secure, I miss the chances to be free. And I'm going to break that down so they can understand what this means and what freedom means. So typically what happens to the life of a young man? A young man is living with someone, he gets a job. The first thing he's thinking about is how can I move out? Okay? How can I move out of this house? How can I move out of this house and go to a place where I'm in charge? Where nobody's using my deodorant, nobody's using my perfume, nobody else is sharing, the things that I thought I've already planned for. I don't feel safe. I want to move out from this house and get into my own house. What is that? I'm joining towards security. And then you know what? I'm going in public transport. I want maybe somebody entered one chance, and the reason why they're entering one chance is because they don't have a car. If I have my own car, I can drive myself, lead myself, I will be secured. So he moves into his own house, gets his own car, and after a while, he begins to tell himself, I need to sack my landlord. I need to not be worrying about rent. When I retire, I don't want to be paying rent. I want to know I'm in my own house. Even if I'm not earning any money again, at least I know I'm secured. The value of security is safety. Safety is what we're thinking about. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you a new financial goal today that I wish I knew when I was 20. Okay? Because guess what? Security is an illusion. Security is an illusion. It means people think that they are secure when they are not secure. People think that they are secure when they are not secure. Typically, what makes you secure, the highest security in the world, is found in the prison. What makes things secure is that the key that controls that security is not with the person who feels secured, it is with somebody else. that many of us are happy to live with the illusion that somebody else is holding the key, somebody else is holding the gun. I have security guards on the outside. I have my house surrounded. I have my estate gated. It is external functionalities and features that give us the illusion of security. We feel secure because the key is on the outside. We feel secure because we are not the ones who control the places. Every security is guaranteed by somebody who understands that there's no security. What am I saying? An employee feels that if I can get a job, I'm secured. The CEO knows that when money runs out, every employee's job is not secured until I can replace any of them to ensure that the company survives. Where you get the maximum security in the world is in the maximum security prison. In that environment, your choices are limited. Research shows that the average individual makes 350 choices per day, but in prison, you are limited to about 5. So what I said happens with security is you lose the capacity to make choices. You streamline yourself into a place where the person who controls, you're like sardine. The key's on the outside, you're locked in the inside. You feel secure, but the person who is on the outside knows that they are saying all is well and provide you with security. But when they hear gunshot that supersedes their own gun, they will change their uniform, lie low, and let you know that really, security is an illusion. But guess what? Many people work all their lives for this illusion, towards this illusion, trying their best to feel secure, to feel that they want to be secure. Meanwhile, the goal ought to be freedom. There's no such thing as security, it's an illusion. The safest place for money to be safe, okay, is when the key is on the outside. It's safe for you to have a safe. We have call something a safe. A safe is safe because the key is not inside the safe, it's outside. Every security is guaranteed by someone that is insecure. The place with the highest security is the maximum security prison. How is it different from freedom? Okay, freedom is about a different set of values. So freedom begins to tell you that your goal in life is not to amass. Your goal is to create and earn passive income. Your goal is not how much I can accumulate. Your goal is to build a system that ensures that there's passive income coming. What is freedom? Financial freedom is a state of life where what you earn as passive income exceeds your living expense. Let me spell that out. Financial freedom is a state of life where what you earn as passive income exceeds your living expense. What you earn passively, you have built a system, you have built a structure, you are involved in something that ensures that what you earn passively exceeds your living expense. Yeah. Now, for people who don't understand freedom and understand security, they want to accumulate. For someone who understands freedom, he wants to build a system. Your goal is not a number, it's a system. Can you type that in the window for me? Your goal, mention somebody's name that you invited here. Mention somebody's name that you invited here and tell the person, Kike, your goal is not a number, it's a system. It is not what you acquire, it is what you build. Okay? It is not what you acquire, it's what you build. Your goal is creating a system that ensures that you are earning passive income so that in the time of your retirement, when you get to 60, 65, you are ensuring that what sustains you is not depleting what you have accumulated, but what sustains you is passive income from a system that you have built. Passive income, residual income, income that comes from a system that is built. You know, I like to tell a story, and I'll summarize that story as I end tonight. I was hoping I would do a financial health checkup for you today. Don't worry, I will do that tomorrow. There'll be a financial health checkup, and I will do this for everyone who comes around and is on time for tomorrow's meeting, because we're going to end this in a few minutes' time. Now, pay attention to this. This says there was a story, and it's a popular book that was written. I'll get the title for you and give it to you. It's called The Parable of the Pipeline. Okay, but I usually concoct a version of it to say two guys were given a work to fetch water, and they were paid handsomely for every bucket that they fetched. And they were fetching the bucket. They saw that it was telling on them, you know, was a toll on their body. They were feeling weak. Was a lot of energy expended in carrying these buckets. And I tell people, they carried the buckets for a while, and then one of them said, you know what, why don't we build a pipe so that we stop carrying? The pipe will take us 6 months to build. Okay. But when we build it, we'll always have water. I want to say, look, I'm earning money doing this regularly. This one you're talking about requires time to build. I can waste my time. I'll still have risks, and I may not get to the end that I desire. So one of them kept on carrying the buckets and earning money and was a superstar in the short term. The other one kept on laying the pipes, and it took longer than he planned. But guess what? He carried the bucket, bought a car, got a house, became secure. And this guy was struggling, carrying a few buckets, but doing a lot of pipe building. I tell people the way we all start our careers is by carrying buckets. We have different kinds of buckets. There are people in this room today who are carrying cups. There are people who are carrying pails. There are people who are carrying GP tanks. But guess what? A bucket is still a bucket, no matter how big the bucket is. A bucket can be gigantic, it can be small. It means your physical effort, your physical presence, your physical wisdom, your physical activity is required to produce value. Okay, and this other guy was laying pipes, and it took a while to lay the pipes. Was vandalized, but kept on laying the pipes. Eventually, the pipes got completed. On the day the pipes got completed, he opened the taps, and 1,000 buckets were filled. That these are buckets that were not filled by the guy who was carrying it daily for the past 6 months. And guess what? He was sick. The pipe still flowed. On the day the bucket carrier was sick, water didn't come. The bucket carrier couldn't transfer the bucket to his children. They will need to develop their own personal muscles to be able to carry it. The pipe builder could just give the key of the pipe to his sons, and the sons continue to operate the pipes. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to know this. Your goal is not accumulation. Your goal is freedom. Your goal is to build and build and build and get a system in place to ensure that when you enter into your stage of retirement, there is water trickling into what you can use to make things happen. You want to have a system. You want to build a system. Now, I tell people there are five systems in the world that you can build. I wish there were 500. Then we will say, let's learn 5, let's learn 10 and participate in 5. But there are 5. Every opportunity to create passive income in the world can be broken into one of 5. And in those one of 5, once you understand those 5, you want to ask yourself, how can I function in these places? How can I understand these places? If I knew this correctly, maybe I'll have channeled my energies earlier. But thank God I got to find out about this about 12 years ago. It's not been a bad run for the last 12 years. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the room with me today and you are listening to this, it is possible for you. Okay? It is possible. Okay? It is possible. It will happen for you as well. Okay? It's going to happen for you. It's going to happen for you big time. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here today, we're going to do the session tomorrow and day after again as well. I want to bring this to a quick close, to a wrap-up close. I'd like you to know this. Okay, so the training we're having today is organized courtesy of the Green community. Somebody invited you here. We do this regularly for our team members. We do this regularly for our organization. This is something that everybody is benefiting from on the crux of the support we have from the Green community. It's something we'd like you to be a part of as well. Find out from the person that invited you how you can be a part, but no pressures. No pressures at all. We want everybody to learn. Our society will be better if more people are financially free, because the kind of things that people do when they are free is the kind of things we need happening in our society. Imagine, go away with this question. Imagine that you had enough passive income coming in for you on a monthly basis, that you did not need to work again, that working became an option, a choice that you needed to make, whether you wanted to work or not. So let's say, for example, you have 2 million naira. I don't know if that's enough for you, but 2 million naira comes for you every month, whether you work or not. Will you be doing the work you are doing today? Will you change work? Will you find yourself participating more in helping orphanages? Will you find yourself participating more in teaching people in their schools? Will you find yourself more in paying people's hospital bills? Will you be giving out scholarships? Will you be making a difference in society? I bet the answer is yes, yes, yes. So I tell you, one of the most important things that you need to do for yourself is create a system that allows you to be financially free. The link for tomorrow is the link for today. This same link, the same link today, tomorrow, and the day after. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to build pipes. We need to learn how to build pipes. We need to learn how to lay structures of pipes in the various kinds of kinds that can be built. I'll share some of them with you tomorrow. We need to build pipes and begin to create systems. And guess what? Everybody can do this. Everybody can do this. I want to thank everybody for coming here today. Like I said, it's what I wish I knew when I was 20. I'm grateful for the time that I've come to know it and learn it. Okay. And I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to share with you as well, so that I can make the adjustments that are required to have the kind of life that you desire and you delight in. So thank you for being a part of today's class.